Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley. Welcome to my craft room. I'm so glad you're here today because I have something very exciting to share with you. Today is Concord 9th release day, and I have been busy making some release videos for Concord 9th, and I didn't have a chance to create my own video tutorials. So I thought I would share 14 card projects that I created featuring the brand new Concord 9th Holiday 2024 release. We're going to look at all these beauties. I'm going to talk you through the product and the cards that I created, and I will have links to this entire release in the YouTube description below. So if you're looking for something, be sure you check there. Now, I wanted to mention that I just got home from a 12-hour shift at the hospital. For those of you who do not know, I am a pediatric nurse. I'm still in my scrubs. I've looked better, I'm not gonna lie, but I needed to get this video filmed in time for release day. So here I am in all my post-shift glory, sharing all these card projects with you. So I'm going to go ahead and pop myself up in the bubble over here, and I'm going to talk to you about this release while we have an overview look at all of the cards that I created. Now, I created all of these cards using my favorite Christmas color palette that I've been using throughout this holiday creating season. It features poppy, ballet slipper, watermelon, juniper, sea glass, rainforest, and stardust, and I love these colors together for the holiday season. It makes for a really fun Christmas palette, and you can see that I have a variety of cards with all of these colors kind of used in different ways. Now, I thought what I would do is kind of walk you through each of the products that I created with and show you the cards that I've created, and you can decide what you need to pick up on your own. So let's get started. Okay, so the first product I want to talk to you about is the Berries and Boughs embossing folder. This is a standard 2D embossing folder which features a beautiful greenery design for the holidays. I think this is perfect for adding some dimension and texture to any style of card project. And this is sized perfectly for a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card. So an A2 size card, which is a really common card size here in the US. And you can see I have created 2 card projects featuring this Berries and Boughs embossing folder. The first one kind of has a decidedly more masculine feel. I have embossed that Berries and Boughs embossing folder onto a panel of rainforest cardstock, and I've also created my own custom striped panel featuring sea glass, juniper, and rainforest. Now, I matted all of that on a brand new champagne silver cardstock or champagne cardstock from Concord 9th, and I added a little greeting from the Festive Blooms stamp set, which we'll look at here in just a bit. Now, after I did my embossing, I added a little bit of white pigment ink to all of the raised areas with a brayer using the Concord 9th white pigment ink. And I love the way that this simple yet festive, masculine kind of card turned out. Now, since we went masculine with this one, I decided to go a little more feminine for my second card project featuring this Berries and Boughs embossing folder. So once again, I used that Berries and Boughs embossing folder to create a background for my card, as well as this oval shape. Now, this oval shape comes from the brand new Nutcracker Die Set. This is brand new from Concord 9th this month as well. I didn't actually create with it this month, but you can check out Mindy Egan's channel. She will have some projects and featuring that Nutcracker die set. So once I embossed it on this rainforest panel and I die cut it using that nice oval shape, I also brayered this piece as well, but this time I used a little rainforest ink. So I got a little darker pattern on this rainforest oval. Now this is a banner die from the Season of Cheer Turnabout bundle, and I used the sentiment from there as well as a sentiment from the Nutcracker die set to create my entire sentiment grouping here. I also have this little bow, which comes from Handmade Holiday, and this little berry sprig, which comes from the Festive Blooms. So those are the cards that I created with the Berries and Boughs embossing folder. I think this is a great way to add texture to any one of your cards for this holiday season, and it's going to go with a variety of different card styles. Now let's get into the new Christmas Lights Inlay Die. So I'm going to go ahead and set these aside, and I am going to grab the Christmas Lights Inlay Die as well as the cards that I created using this. Now, inlay dies seem to be all the rage right now, and I have to admit they are so much fun to play with. This is going to fit an A2 size panel perfectly, so 4¼ by 5½, and it's going to die cut out all of these light bulbs and the little socket things for the light bulbs. Sockets for the light bulbs, yes, that's what I want to say. Now you're also going to get a stitched line above each of these lines of light bulbs that is kind of fun and whimsical. Now once you die cut this from your panel, then you can die cut the light bulbs from different colors and create a variety of different looks. And we'll talk about these cards here. So for this first card, I die cut the inlay die from a 4¼ by 5½ panel of rainforest cardstock. And while I had all of the pieces kind of popped out, I took a micro blending brush and used some pigment ink, some white pigment ink, to do a little blending around the area of each light bulb. I also die cut this die from several different colors of cardstock that are in that favorite color palette that I'm using for the year. And I die cut them also from some champagne cardstock, brand new this month. Then I laid this panel onto a card base and I covered the entire card base with adhesive before adhering that panel. Then I was easily able to inlay each of these light bulbs. Now it's kind of hard to tell in the video, but I snuck an extra layer of a plain white die cut under each of these light bulbs. So they have a lot of raised dimension. It's not a lot of raised dimension, but it's enough that it makes this card very tactile. I also added some white gel pen details and some glossy accents to each of the light bulbs to really make them shine. And I finished this card off with a banner and a greeting that are both from the Nutcracker Die Set. I love the way this card turned out. I love those little champagne sockets at the top and all of the various colors of light bulb. I think this is so much fun and just a really simple, beautiful, and whimsical card for the holidays. Now for my second card, I actually took that panel and I trimmed along one of the strings of lights to create a partial panel. Then instead of inlaying all of these light bulbs, I added strips of cardstock behind each one of these rows to make each row of light bulbs a different color. Now, once I kind of laid those strips behind each row of light bulbs, I added some shimmer pin and a little bit of glossy accents. And then, of course, I have this Joy Sentiment, which is also from the Nutcracker Die Set. So that's the Christmas Lights Inlay Die Set. This is so much fun to create with. I know inlay dies are all the rage right now, and there's several to choose from in this release from Concord 9th, and I hope you enjoy playing with them as well. So let's move on now to the classic holiday greetings dies. Now this is one that you're going to want to pick up because it's one of those staple sets that you can use in so many different ways. These are nice, big, bold greetings for the holiday, and it includes Merry Christmas, Joy to the World, Oh Holy Night, and Peace on Earth in different fonts and styles. But one of the things I love about this die set is that each of the dies includes a shadow die. So that means this is a great set for making shaker cards. So you could use the shadow die to create your shaker window. You could inlay your sentiment right on top of that shaker window, and it's a fun way to create a holiday card. Now these sentiments are also large enough to be kind of a focal point on all of your cards, and that's exactly what I've done with this first card. So for the shadow layer, I created my own custom striped cardstock using poppy and white cardstocks from Concord 9th, and then I die cut that shadow from that striped cardstock that I created. I also die cut the Merry Christmas from some matte silver cardstock from Concord 9th, and I stacked up a couple layers behind it to give it a little bit of dimension and weight against that striped candy cane background. Now all of this greenery actually comes from the Festive Blooms die set that I'm going to be showing you next. And the berries come from that set as well. And I've just die cut it from a variety of different greens, including the sea glass, the juniper, and the rainforest, as well as some vellum. Now this background features a diagonal striped stitched pattern, and that is a striped card front cover plate from Concord 9th. So I really love the classic look of this card and the way it turned out, but let's have a look at this beauty here. Now this card was definitely inspired by my friend Therese Calvert. She is a wonderful card maker, and she created a card project that I absolutely loved. She did it in a little bit different way, and so I took that and made it my own by repeating the joy to the world sentiment over and over again. So I die cut the shadow layers from different colors of cardstock, and then I die cut the actual sentiment from that brand new champagne cardstock. I know you're gonna be so tired of me talking about it, but I love it. Then I adhered him to a panel and trimmed off the excess, but then I just kind of pulled him off the panel so that I could add a little bit of foam adhesive under each one of these sentiments. So there's a lot of dimension, a lot of shadow on this card, and I love it. Now for the main focal sentiment, I actually took some champagne thread, it's from DMC, and I kind of created a messy nest behind that and put a double layer of foam adhesive behind this so that it would really stand out and take center stage. And then I just embellished it with a couple of the holly leaves from the Festive Blooms Die Set. And I love the way this card turned out. I think it's so fun and so colorful, but you can see that you can really create a variety of style of cards with this particular greeting set, because you have something that's a little more sophisticated, something that's a little more fun and whimsical. And I love this Oh Holy Night greeting. It is so different than anything else that I have in my stash. So now with that brings me to the Festive Blooms Die Set. And let me just tell you, you need to stop here and you need to go over and check out your cart at Concord 9th right now, because I am convinced that this Festive Blooms bundle is going to sell out. Now, if you were a fan of the Primrose Garden die set that Concord 9th released earlier this year, you're going to be a fan of this. This is like the holiday version of the Primrose Garden set. And look at these gorgeous cards. Love them so much. So just like the Primrose Garden set, you have this stitched pattern that you can die cut into your card front, or you can create a shaped card with this. And I love that they've kind of made the stitch die and the outline die separate, so you can choose how you place that onto your card, or if you want to make a shaped card. And then you have all of your elements to fill this in, okay? So I know when you look at a die set, this doesn't look impressive. One thing I do want to mention before I move on to my cards is that all of these sentiments, these large banner shaped sentiments, fit within this banner die that's in there. So when you look at the die set, you're like, that's okay, but look at what you can create with that. Look at how beautiful this holiday card is. Of course, I've done it in some non-traditional colors, but all of this floral arranging was made so easy because I had the stitched pattern to follow. So I just die cut my elements and I put it right over where the stitched pattern is on the card front, and I was able to create this gorgeous, perfectly arranged floral card. And I love these kind of magnolia shaped flowers. I'm not sure exactly what kind of flowers they are because I'm just not a green thumb. I do plenty of other things, but gardening is not one of them. And the centers of these make the perfect tiny little pine cones that you can use on other areas of different projects. Now for this one, I am obsessed with this Merry Greeting from the Nutcracker Die Set. So I used it again on a little bit of vellum here. And I just think this is so gorgeous. And of course, this is a shaped card, so I used that outline die to create my card front as well as my card base and created an opening shaped card. You can see I also used that champagne cardstock again on the berries and on my poinsettia centers. So that's card number one, and this kind of uses that stitched outline as it was intended. For card number 2, I decided to go on my own and do my own floral arranging for this card. And so I die cut the poinsettia and some of the leaves and the greenery from various colors of cardstock. And I just created kind of this corner element to kind of fill in this lower right-hand corner of the card. So keep in mind that you don't have to use these florals just with the stitched background, but you can use them as just standalone elements on other cards, and they make for beautiful cards. Now to finish this card off, I just heat embossed this "May Your Christmas Be Joyful and Bright" sentiment from the coordinating stamp set onto some vellum, and then I die cut it using that banner die, and it turned out so beautiful. I also added a little bit of glossy accents, an oldie but a goodie, onto all of these watermelon colored berries. Now, I'm serious. I think this is going to sell out because the Primrose Garden die set sold out like that. So if this is something that you want to get your hands on to start creating for the holidays, I would go check out now. There's links in the description below. So that brings me to my next little bundle here. And the next bundle is the Handmade Holiday Dies and Stamps. And I think this is a fun bundle because it's very unique. It features all of these different shaped hands that you can die cut. And by the way, the Neutrals cardstock pack is the perfect cardstock pack for this because it has a lot of different skin tone options in it. So you can die cut all of these different shaped hands, and they're designed to hold each of the different elements that are included in the die set. So you have a string of lights, a gingerbread man, a cup of coffee, some presents, as well as some mistletoe, an ornament. And I love all of these different elements and the way that the hands are shaped perfectly for each different type of thing that they're holding. Now, in addition, there is the Handmade Holiday Stamp Set. This includes some fun and festive greetings to kind of coordinate with the Handmade Holiday Die Set. So we have Let's Get Festive, Holiday Cheer for You this year. We have just a simple hello because you can use this die set year round. Think birthday cards because the hand holding the present, I think it's perfect. There's also the little frosting details for the gingerbread man, some steam, a little bit of snow, and a heart. I love it when Concord 9th throws in a heart because they always have like the perfect shaped little hearts in their sets. Now let's look at the cards that I created featuring this Handmade Holiday set. So the first card features this little hand, which is holding the mistletoe, and I think this is so cute. This is my flirty Christmas card. So if you're looking for a fun and flirty Christmas card, I gotcha. This one, I put the Let's Get Festive greeting on there, and then I kind of underlined it like, you know, festive. And then I also stamped the snow detail behind the little mistletoe gathering there. I don't know if you can see this in the video, but I did take a little red Copic marker and add some fingernail polish to the ends of her fingernails because I thought that would be perfect. I mean, who doesn't wear red polish at Christmas time, right? So once I did that, I kind of mounted my panel onto a small, slightly larger piece of watermelon cardstock. And then I used the quilted card front die from Concord 9th to die cut this panel, which I placed directly on my card base. And that just makes for a fun and kind of textured background so that this card didn't feel too plain. You know what I mean? Too minimal. This is definitely a clean and simple card. It came together so quickly and so easily, and I think it's so adorable to kind of send a flirty card for the holiday. That one's saved for my husband. Now, next up, I have the hand holding the presents, and this is where I think this would be perfect for birthdays throughout the year. So you could die cut these from any color of cardstock and stamp a birthday sentiment there, and you would have a birthday themed card instantly. But I want to talk you through what I did on this card. The Happy Christmas is from the stamp set, and then I've die cut the gifts from different colors and stacked them up on that hand. And I die cut each of the bows for the gift from the champagne cardstock. Then I tucked my little gingerbread man at the top. Now this little piece here is actually designed to be a little ribbon, but I decided to use it as a bracelet. And once again, I added a little bit of nail polish to my girl's fingers because you can't have naked nails, you know what I mean? So that is the Handmade Holiday Bundle. I love these cards. They came together so quickly. This really does lend itself to some clean and simple cards that are quick and easy to put together, and I think it can be used throughout the year. Now let's move on to another embossing folder, and this one is called the Holiday Sprigs embossing folder, and it also includes a stencil option. Now what's great about this is that you can use the embossing folder on its own to create, textured dimensional patterns for your backdrops, or you can use it in conjunction with the stencil to create a raised ink blended area, or you can use the stencil on its own. Now, the beautiful thing about a stencil, as we all know, is that you can use it with your paste and your glitter gels to really kind of zhuzh it up a little bit. And I've used a combination of these two products in the cards that I've created. So for the first card, I just actually ink blended this entire panel. Now, these stencils are designed along with the embossing folder to fit on an A2 size card front, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. So I took a panel of white cardstock, Concord 9th white cardstock, because it's my favorite, for real. I use it for everything. And I blended on this beautiful Holiday Sprigs pattern using a variety of different colors of green. And you can see I even snuck in some stardust there to bring a little brightness to this background. Then I embossed a panel of rainforest cardstock, and I die cut my original ink blended panel kind of at an angle, and I nestled these on top so that you have that continuing pattern of the stencil coming down into that raised embossed pattern of the embossing folder. And I just added a strip of stardust cardstock along that edge to kind of give it a clean, finished look. And my sentiment, of course, comes from that classic holiday greetings die set. And I cannot resist these holly leaves from the Festive Blooms Die Set. So I used them again here, and I just tucked them underneath that sentiment. Isn't that beautiful? I love this. Super elegant, but you could just use the embossing folder on its own, the stencil on its own, or you can combine them together. Now let's talk about card number 2 because she is a stunner. I embossed, actually what I did first was I die cut my triangles. It's been a long day. I worked a 12-hour shift, okay? I die cut a rectangle window from this panel of wheat cardstock. And then I die cut the champagne cardstock to fit directly in that window. And I combined them together and I placed them in the embossing folder and I ran it through my embossing machine or my die cut machine with the embossing folder. And so I have this continuous pattern going over the entire card front. I matted that champagne cardstock onto some watermelon cardstock. And before I mounted this entire thing using some foam adhesive, I went over the top of this raised pattern with a brayer and some white pigment ink to bring a little bit of contrast to that raised area and draw attention. But I love an embossing folder because it really does give you kind of that tactile feel to a card, which is so beautiful. Now I finished this off with the Peace on Earth greeting. This is from the classic Holiday Words die set. And again, some more elements from that Festive Blooms die set. I had some like berry sprigs here, and I used those floral centers as little pine cones tucked in with my holly leaves as well. So that's the Holiday Sprigs bundle, which includes the embossing folder and the stencil set. They are available individually, but when you use them together, you have so many wonderful options, and I think it makes for some fun cards. Now, the last bundle that I'm going to talk about today is the Tree Lot Inlay Die. It's actually not a bundle, it's just a die by itself. It's another one of the inlay dies that's available in this release. Now, there are 2 more inlay dies that I did not create with, but my friend Mindy did. So if you want to see her projects, I'm sure she'll be sharing them on social media. Those other two dies, those inlay dies, are an Ornament Inlay Die and the Fa La La Inlay Die, which I have used to kind of emboss my background here, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But once again, this inlay die is designed to fit on an A2 size card base or card front. So you're going to die cut this from a panel of A2 size cardstock, and it's going to knock out all of these trees. Now, what I think is fun and unique about this particular inlay die is that it would make a really great shaker card front. And you could place this over a panel of ink blended cardstock and create some really fun cards without ever doing die cut inlay. But you can also use it for die cut inlay, which is what I have done on this first card. So this first card, I used it kind of as it was intended, as an inlay die. I die cut the die from some wheat cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And then that left me with all of these tree openings. Now, instead of cutting full A2 size panels for each of these colors of trees, I just actually trimmed down like a half panel of cardstock of each of these colors and die cut just 2 rows of trees, because I was using so many colors that I only needed a couple of rows of these trees to make it all work, and I still have plenty left over. So once I had that all die cut and all of my trees ready to go, I added my card front onto my card base, but I first put down a full panel of sheet adhesive under it. That way, as I go to place my trees into those openings, they stick right in place. I'm able to nestle them in, and I don't have to fuss with liquid glue or tape runner, and they are held securely. So you can see I used a variety of trees here, and I inlaid them until I got to row number 3. And on row number 3, I decided to add a couple of layers of plain white die cuts just behind this row of trees to give them a little dimension and kind of create an unexpected twist on this inlay card. Now, I finished off my ornament trees with some gold metallic dots from Concord 9th, and my sentiment is from that Festive Blooms stamp and coordinating die set. I just heat embossed that onto some vellum and finished my card off. Isn't that so fun and whimsical? I love that there's kind of some modern trees mixed with some more traditional trees, and these don't have to just be used as an inlay, which is evident in this card here. I've used just a few of these trees as standalone die cuts to create a little tree lot scene, and I've used the Deck the Halls sentiment from the Classic Holiday Greetings die set to finish off this card. Now, for my trees, I used some enamel dots, and I also added some Stickles glitter glue to make them a little bit sparkly. And for these elements on the card, there's actually a few of the other die sets that are brand new this month kind of mixed in here. So this oval shape comes from the new Nutcracker Die Set. I just die cut that from some white cardstock, and then the shadow layer from some champagne cardstock. And then that white cardstock, I added that striped diagonal stitched pattern onto using the card front die from Concord 9th. And then the background, I used the Fa La La Inlay Die to create an impression with my die. So I just followed the instructions on my Platinum 6 to create an impression or emboss with a die to create this Fa La La background, which I thought just coordinated with the Deck the Halls so well. Now, there are a few more products that I did not create with, but I have shared 14 card projects with you today. So much inspiration, and there are, I believe, 5 more bundles available, including that Nutcracker, Season of Cheer, Ornament Inlay, Fa La La Inlay, and a Turnabout stamp. So you're going to want to check those out. I do have links to the additional bundles in the YouTube description below. But I want to say thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of 14 fabulous cards featuring the brand new Holiday 2024 release from Concord 9th. I really want to thank you for stopping by, for watching. If you're looking for anything in particular, I'll have links in the YouTube description below. But don't forget to like this video and subscribe and turn on the notifications here so you don't miss any of the paper crafting and card making video tutorials I share. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day. Thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and turn on the notifications here on my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of my card making and paper crafting video tutorials. Thanks again, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.